Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely fascinating: the linguistic and rhetorical engine behind one of the most studied public speakers of the modern era, Barack Obama. We are taking a completely impartial, analytical masterclass into the exact mechanics of his delivery. Whether you're stepping into a boardroom, leading a team meeting, or giving a keynote, we're going to distill the precise tools he uses so you can learn exactly how to speak like a master orator. Let's dive right in. So, what really makes someone a master orator? Is it just, raw natural talent? Well, it actually might surprise you to know that early in his political career, specifically around his year 2000 congressional bid, Obama was described by critics as wonky, aloof, and even stiff and professorial. His ability to captivate an audience wasn't just innate, it was a meticulously trained skill. He studied speech mechanics, he practiced relentlessly, and he refined his delivery over years. To immediately demonstrate the power of carefully crafted syntax, just listen to the rhythm of this excerpt from his 2008 victory speech. It's the answers spoken by young and old, rich and poor, Democrat and Republican, black, white, Hispanic, Asian. You can literally hear the momentum building there, right? If you want to speak like Obama, this is your very first lesson. Cadence isn't an accident. It's a deliberate architectural choice designed to totally sweep the listener up. To get us there, our toolkit today covers 5 key areas. First, the power of the pause. Second, rhythm and rhetorical devices. Third, connecting via pronouns. Fourth, style shifting. And finally, storytelling and authenticity. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the power of the pause. A master speaker's absolute best friend often isn't the words they use, but the deliberate silence placed right between them. During his 2014 United Nations General Assembly address, Obama tackled incredibly heavy topics from violent extremism to the Ebola crisis. In the opening minute, he spoke fewer than 50 words, but he mindfully paused 4 separate times. He paced his opening to perfectly underscore the intense gravity of the moment. Let me show you how this actually sounds in practice. When you hit a crucial point, a 2 to 3 second pause lets the message truly sink into the listener's brain. Listen to this. Today, I ask the world to join in this effort. Those who have joined ISIL should leave the battlefield while they can. That literal 2-second silence forces the audience to process the weight of the previous sentence before moving on to the next. Try that in your next presentation when you reach your core thesis. Moving on to section 2, rhythm and rhetorical devices. So how do you construct sentences that literally sound like music? Well, you use anaphora. That's the repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses. A study published in the Journal of Liberal Arts actually analyzed Obama's eulogies and found anaphora was his most frequently applied rhetorical device. It's a wildly powerful tool to instantly alter an audience's mood and establish a really driving beat. Listen to this excerpt from his 2008 victory speech. It began in the backyards of Des Moines and the living rooms of Concord and the front porches of Charleston. Notice that repetition of the word and? In linguistics, this is called polysyndeton. By repeating and instead of just using normal commas, he slows the listener down and stresses the unique importance of every single item on that list. Understanding exactly why to use this repetition is absolutely crucial. You repeat words to create emphasis on a specific subject, to call attention to a core point, to appeal to emotion by altering the room's mood, and to add a memorable musical rhythm to your delivery. Basically, repetition isn't redundant, it's highly structural. To build this kind of musicality in your own speeches, you should really rely on the tricolon, better known as the rule of 3. Grouping ideas or phrases in threes is quite literally a cognitive shortcut. Human brains just love patterns, and 3 is the smallest number required to make one. It makes your core message inherently more satisfying and deeply memorable. When delivered effectively, this rule injects a really rhythmic driving tempo. Block by block, brick by brick, calloused hand by calloused hand. Speak that rapidly and you can instantly feel the momentum. Grouping short, parallel phrases in threes is an incredibly effective way to drive any conclusion home. That brings us to section 3. Connecting through pronouns. A master speaker knows that seemingly invisible words, like pronouns, completely manipulate the perceived distance between the speaker and the audience. Research analyzing political speeches shows a really stark contrast in pronoun strategy here. I is utilized to show personal involvement, express humility, or take direct responsibility. Conversely, we is used strategically to act as a spokesman. It actually decreases personal pressure on the speaker and makes the audience feel like active participants in the solution. listen to the inclusive we in action here. In this country, we rise or fall as one nation, as one people. By utilizing we, a solo speech is instantly transformed into a collective mission. It builds immense solidarity. So when you are leading a team, just consider how shifting from "I need this done" to "we have a challenge to overcome" totally changes the entire psychology of the room. Section 4. Style shifting and audience. A master speaker does not sound exactly the same in every single room. They tailor their voice, their pacing, and their vocabulary to the specific people sitting right in front of them. This is done through a linguistic concept called style shifting. It's the adaptation of your speech style to build affiliation. And linguistic research notes this isn't about being thick. Rather, it's a process of bricolage, meaning you are pulling from the different facets of your own background to relate to a specific audience, all while keeping your individual identity intact. An interesting linguistic analysis actually tracked Obama's speeches across different demographics. In highly formal settings or with mixed audiences, he utilized standard American English. However, when addressing predominantly Black audiences, researchers tracked a measurable shift toward African American vernacular English variants. This included things like lowering the happy vowel at the end of words or using in rather than shing and gerunds. It is a brilliant, totally subconscious tool for building immediate cultural affiliation and trust. To speak effectively, you absolutely must learn to read the room and adjust your own stylistic dials accordingly. And finally, Section 5, Storytelling and Authenticity. Here's the truth. All the rhetorical devices in the world will completely fall flat if the message doesn't feel emotionally resonant and genuine. Grounding our analysis in historic moments like the 2008 Grant Park victory speech, the eloquence works primarily because it is rooted in real emotional connection. Notice the open body language and the steady eye contact. The mechanics serve the authenticity. They don't replace it. John Favreau, Obama's former director of speechwriting, outlined 5 highly actionable lessons for communication. First, the overall story always beats out catchy words. Second, use humor. Take the job seriously, but not yourself. Third, talk like a normal human being. Drop the academic jargon. Fourth, be honest and courageous. And fifth, always choose hope and idealism. Plain language and a compelling narrative will win every single time. So, the absolutely crucial point regarding authenticity is this: share relatable personal details. Sharing your vulnerabilities or your past failures isn't a sign of weakness on stage. It is a highly tactical way to foster empathy. When you show real emotional honesty, you bypass the audience's natural defenses, quickly turning a skeptical crowd into a trusting community. Okay, if you want to drill these mechanics into your own muscle memory, here is your homework. Follow these exact steps today. Choose a famous speech you admire. Break it down into bite-sized 10 to 20-second lines. Read them aloud, actively mimicking the rhythm and those 2 to 3 second strategic pauses. Finally, record yourself on your phone and watch it back. I know it might be a little uncomfortable at first, but it is literally the fastest way to grow. We have deconstructed the power of the pause, the rhythm of the rule of 3, the subtle psychology of pronouns, and the absolute necessity of authentic storytelling. You now have the exact oratorical toolkit used at the highest levels of global leadership. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought. You have the toolkit. Now, what story will you tell the world in your next presentation? Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.